Welcome to this brief session on the ICA Certificate in Trade Based Money Laundering. My name is Pekka, Director of Training, Education and Development at International Compliance Training. So why is there such a focus on international trade and financial crime? According to Global Financial Integrity, the US-based think tank and non-profit research body, every year, roughly $1 trillion in illicit capital flows out of developing economies. This activity relates to crime, corruption, and tax evasion. The significant majority of this capital flows through trade misinvoicing related to price, quality, or quantity. It's important to note that much of this occurs through open account trading, which constitutes roughly 80% of the world's trade. Banks are also further exposed through the provision of documentary trade finance products and services, which constitute approximately 20% of the world's international trade. Now, the world of documentary trade finance is a complicated and challenging sector. Documentary trade finance is still largely paper-based, despite moves by several banks to examine the use of new technologies, including blockchain technology. The rules of international trade finance, which are known as the UCP rules, and the Wolfsburg Group guidance, updated in 2017, this is the group of leading banks, they provide guidance and support to firms involved. But what are the real risks and how should firms manage them? It's clear that firms should understand thoroughly their customers' business model, including their principal counterparties, the countries in which they are based, the nature of the goods and services exchanged, and the expected annual transaction volumes. This information should also be reviewed in conjunction with the information provided by customers during actual transactions. Also, firms have to wrestle with risks related to dual-use goods. These are goods that can be used in a civilian or commercial context, but also have a potential military application, of which there are thousands, ranging from chemicals to avionics to nuclear material. What are the impacts of the international regimes to counter proliferation of weapons of mass destruction on firms? The international rules of trade finance recognise that firms deal in documents but not goods themselves. But the question is, what degree of scrutiny must firms give to unusual transactions? Of the vast number of containers and vessels that crisscross the world's oceans every year, how many are actually inspected and the goods contained therein correctly identified? The ICA Certificate in Trade Based Money Laundering examines these issues. Controls include risk assessments, a combination of automated and manual controls, and perhaps most appropriate of all, relevant and focused training. Thank you and goodbye.